Phantom Thread is the latest film by master filmmaker Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favorite filmmakers, and another collaboration between him and Daniel Day-Lewis. The other one being one of my favorite films, There Will Be Blood. Um, I didn't quite know what to expect going into this film. It seemed exciting that the two were working together again, but um, the subject matter seemed so different to me that it was hard to wrap my head around what this would be like until I actually saw it. And it did not disappoint. It was one of my favorite movies in recent years and maybe my favorite movie of 2017. The story centers on a dressmaker, Reynolds Woodcock. Now, if you think that that name is funny, you're not alone. I think it's pretty funny too. And if I'm not mistaken, I read something on IMDb that said that Daniel Day-Lewis, who was the one who came up with the name, and Paul Thomas Anderson both thought it was funny. The for the obvious reason, first of all, but secondly because it's this really like weighty title, and in a way, it kind of gives you an idea of what this character's life like going right into it. Reynolds Woodcock. The man is stern, firm. He is rigid, and there's kind of an air of like pageantry or formality to him. He is a very fascinating character, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone in cinema quite like this character. He's a consummate professional. He's an artist who is a dressmaker. He lives in London in the 1950s, and he's very difficult to get along with, but not in the way that you might think. He has like rules and order to his madness that demand that everyone around him behave in this sort of perfect way. There's a perfection to his craft, and he demands that everyone around him also exhibit that same kind of perfection. The real conflict of the film comes when this perfection that he strives for is challenged by his romantic relationships. And we start the film with him very coldly ending a relationship with his previous woman, and then he meets a waitress named Alma who sort of understands him in a strange way. Like, she gets something out of his rigid, artistic pursuit of perfection that maybe the other women didn't have. But she also is not just going to take this lying down. There's aspects of his character that are almost abusive seeming, and he is not a comfortable person to be around. And you would be walking on eggshells around this person if you were involved with them. And she, in ways that I don't want to reveal because I think that it would spoil the movie for you, kind of fights back towards this, I don't know if you'd call it like hyper masculine, but just this rigid sense of order that she gets something from, but is also there to temper. And I thought that it was beautifully done, just executed with the most careful hand. The film itself looks amazing. The costumes itself had to reflect the intensity of this man and his pursuit of greatness. And if the dresses didn't match that kind of perception of him, then it wouldn't really make sense. The cinematography is incredible. The camera work is fluid and beautiful, and when it doesn't want to be, it's very stern and in your face, and the framing is incredible. I only just saw the movie once, and yet there's so many images that just stuck out in my head that when you describe them sound really unremarkable. Just the way someone was standing by a table, or just the way that they pulled back the camera a moment to reveal something. And if you're a person who appreciates careful filmmaking and all that you can get from it, this is one that you shouldn't miss. It is like layers upon layers of psychological depth for you to unpack. The performances are incredible. The writing is incredible. I mean, I just can't say enough good stuff about this film. I don't want to gush about it as though they didn't have any imperfections, but they were few and far between. I've heard other people make this criticism that some of the decisions that the main characters make at the end of the film don't seem psychologically real to them, and I could see how you could think that, but I didn't feel that way. I thought that the sort of submission to this thing that Reynolds does towards the end of the film is quite believable in its own way, and I would challenge people who thought that to see it again and really think that it's out of his character to do something like that. So, I mean, it is, but it's not. It's where his arc was leading him to. So, I don't know. It's kind of a personal thing, but man, what an exciting movie to see. I'm so excited for the next Paul Thomas Anderson film. I mean, I don't know when that'll be or what it'll be, but just one of the best filmmakers working today, and one of the few filmmakers, when I walk out of the theater, I genuinely feel honored that I got to see that movie. I know that sounds kind of too much, but the fact that someone out there sees the way he sees and is able to execute it in such a beautiful, impactful way, it just makes you feel good about life. It makes you feel good that people are out there paying attention that much. And yeah, I don't know. Thank you. I'm giving this film a 98 out of 100. It's pretty high, and I feel a little apprehensive. I feel like I should have given it maybe a 92 or 3, but that's just because I only saw it once, and I want room to my taste to grow and appreciate. And sometimes when you this is perfect, and you just decide that right away, it's future viewings or sometimes can disappoint you. I don't think this one will disappoint me. I'm gonna say that I'm confidently at this point, yes, confidently giving it a 98.